Okay, Shanti, this question comes on behalf of all the women out there. And we get this question a lot. And that is, why in the world does my husband just seem to shut down or he gets angry and withdraws? It's that kind of silent male syndrome. What does a woman need to know about that? You've done tons of research on this, so I'm really curious.
Yeah, tons over the last 18 years. I think I'm now at interviewing and surveying something like 20,000 men over the years. And actually there is one very, very, very common denominator. And here's really the key, ladies, is to realize that your husband actually looks pretty strong and confident, and you may sort of think that's really how he feels about himself. There's actually a truth on the inside that's very different, where there's a lot of insecurity and self doubt that you don't know is there. And what often that anger or withdrawing, what that signifies is that you've hit that raw nerve without realizing it, and certainly usually without intending to. And you've actually hurt his feelings. And it's usually stuff that we're like, what? Why would that hurt his feelings? And yet it's actually because statistically, this is not in 100% of cases, but this was somewhere about 75 to 85% of men, depending on which survey you're talking about, that there's actually deep down a different insecurity for most men than we have. We women kind of have this am I lovable question, right? So that can be our nerve when we feel like that's been hit. For men, it's completely different. It's am I able? And am I any good at what I do? And they're really longing to see how people feel about them in that area. And so when you like come along behind him and put the dishes in the dishwasher the right way, and for you, it's just like you're trying to help, you're just kind of being efficient. For him, you have no idea that you're sending this message that no, what you do isn't adequate, you failed. And it's painful because that is his vulnerability.
So it comes off as a message of inadequacy to the man.
There's actually something that the men said that I thought was really insightful as I was asking them this. And they said, look, there's kind of a next day rule, sort of like, and there's two parts to it. If there's something that he didn't do right, he missed the spot when he was clipping the hedges, or the fiber cloth didn't get used properly or whatever. Ask yourself first, is it going to be so important the next day that it's worth hurting my husband's feelings today? Because that's kind of the calculus that you're making. You don't think of it that way, but that's kind of it. And sometimes it is. Like there's some things that are really important to me that really bug me, or that's really important with the kids or whatever. And it is actually important to mention it right then. And yeah, it'll sting a little bit, but it is important. But the second part of the next day rule, the guys all said, is that if you can mention it the next day, if it's not so crucial, let him be glad that he pleased you by cleaning the kitchen and took one thing off of your plate. And just say thank you, just appreciate it. And if there's something that's really bugging you, do it when he's out of the room. I know that sounds really patronizing, and truly, I'm just repeating what the men said. I'm just your tour guide. And if it is crucial to mention it, try to do it the next day when it's like, you know what, thanks so much for cleaning the kitchen. And you know what, I actually bought some tools. Would you mind if we use these instead? Because that actually helps with the bacteria or whatever. And and normally, as long as a guy knows that what he's done is appreciated, that's what matters.
So, Shanti, this is so helpful, but I got to be honest with you. In my relationship with Leslie, I feel like it's kind of reversed. I think I'm the one that kind of sends those messages to her in some way. Do you find that it's across the board, or is there a certain percentage that's that way?
No, I'm glad you asked that. No, we always found in all of our surveys that there's about, it sort of depends on the question and that kind of thing, but it's about 75% to 80% of men or women tend to respond certain ways. We always say, look, if 75% of men said one way, 25% didn't, right? Everybody's an individual. The key is to use this as a starting point. Does this explain something?
It's to get the conversation going between you and your own
Correct.
self-talk. What thinking about it. So helpful. Really appreciate it.
Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here on our A Better Us YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage even better.
Right. And you can see just a few options we think you might like here and here. So keep exploring.
Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way all the time.